for 4 to 5. I'm Chad Silber, filling in alongside Lauren Coleman today.
Love to have you today. We'll get into our news and weather in just a moment, but make sure you head over to Facebook, join our live stream so you can chat with us. But let's jump into our top story for today. We have some new information this afternoon in a deadly child abuse investigation in High Point. Police say it's not the first time this father was investigated for abuse.
Yeah, police arrested Devin Nelson, the father in this case, and his girlfriend Tamara Corbett after a 6-year-old boy died this week. Court records show the little boy had burns, bruises, and cuts all over his body when he died at the hospital Sunday. Dad initially told police the boy had fallen in the bathtub, but investigators say the boy's injuries showed a pattern of abuse. Court records show the suspect later admitted to beating the boy. Police say there was a report of abuse last year, but no action was taken at that time. The state has taken custody of 2 other children, ages 3 and 4. Both suspects appeared in court this afternoon and are in jail on $2 million bonds. We'll hear from investigators about this case tonight at 5.
The FDA is warning that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been linked to a rare autoimmune disease, but that's the key word here, rare. Health experts say the benefits of the vaccine still outweigh the risk. The FDA says it has seen 100 preliminary reports of Guillain-Barré syndrome out of nearly 13 million people who have received 1-dose shots. 95 of those cases required hospitalization. 1 person died. Johnson & Johnson says the chance of having this occur is very low. And once again, doctors say knowing about this rare side effect is key to preventing potential issues.
We have the treatments for it. The key is to identify it early. And with this warning, we will do that. So it is safe to get the vaccine clearly. You can get Guillain-Barré with COVID-19, and we see it much more frequently than with the vaccine.
The Pfizer and Moderna vaccines have not been found to have similar risks of this rare side effect.
The CDC says more than 12 million Americans received that one-shot J&J vaccine. In our state, that number is about 350,000. Again, there have only been 100 reports of the rare side effect nationwide. Meantime, I'm tracking another increase in some of our coronavirus data. This shows the number of North Carolinians in the hospital with the virus. Today's number is 469. It's the 3rd day in a row this number has gone up. You can see this number has gone down for weeks back in May and much of June. The numbers then leveled off around the end of June and early July, but they have steadily gone up for the past 10 days. You can notice the change in direction when I add a 2-week trend line here. You can see the 14-day average was going down until about last week, and you can see a change in the direction ever so slightly.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. A Triad restaurant is indefinitely closed as it dealt with staffing challenges. Melt owners made the announcement on social media earlier this morning. The restaurant started with a location on Golden Gate Drive 7 years ago before moving to its current spot on New Garden. The owners say the industry is notoriously difficult and say now is the time for them to focus on their family. They do say they are hoping to plan a celebration soon for fans of Melt, and will keep everyone updated on those details. And a group of 50 Democratic lawmakers from Texas are in Washington, D.C., staging a protest on state voting legislation they say unfairly affects minorities. GOP leaders in Texas are proposing cutting back on early voting, banning drive-through voting, and making it a felony for applications to be sent to Texas voters. Similar legislation failed to pass in the May special session. By staying in D.C., Democrats are trying to block the efforts for the bills to pass. Governor Greg Abbott says the Democrats who fled will face legal consequences. And First Lady Jill Biden will cheer on Team USA at the opening ceremonies at the Tokyo Olympics this month. She will travel without President Biden and lead the U.S. delegation at the ceremony on July 23rd. This will mark her first solo trip abroad as First Lady. The last time she attended the Games was in 2010. Organizers announced last week due to a state of emergency in Tokyo, no fans will be allowed at the Games. And back by popular demand, get ready for 2 nights of Sting at the Tanger Center. The event center announced that due to demand for tickets, they are now adding a second Sting performance later this fall. The singer will be performing with the Greensboro Symphony on November 20th and the 21st. Tickets are available for the public at the end of this month.
Well, if you've been outside, well, it's kind of like going outside yesterday. or the day before that. Not a lot of changes out here, right? A lot of sunshine still to go around. A little bit of a breeze that's helping us out from time to time, but it's just July. Temperature right now is 81 degrees, or that's not right, 88 degrees. Of course it's not 81. That would feel pretty good. It's close to 90 right now in Winston-Salem. The dew point is 65, actually a couple degrees cooler on the dew point side compared to this time yesterday, which helps out a little bit outdoors, but otherwise still a very hot and muggy day of weather here. We have a little bit of wind that's helping it feel a little bit better, but again, that heat and humidity definitely making it a little tough to take. That partly sunny sky, it's going to continue as we go into the rest of the day. Let me just click my graphics here to see what's going on. But I do want you to know Greensboro sitting at 90 degrees or close to it. Similar story for High Point, North Carolina. When you factor in that humidity, it's feeling a little bit worse. We're in those low 90s for the heat index, as we call it, which makes everything feel a little bit worse than it actually is. Radar picture right now, looking at a couple scattered showers to our south. We're talking about in the southern Piedmont here. So if we look into the southern counties, right there near South Carolina, that's where these showers and storms are at the moment. Very low chance of these coming into the Triad. I don't expect many of them to hold together. Most of them should start to fall apart as they get a little bit closer. So staying hot, humid the next couple of hours, not expecting any big changes to that. Temperatures cooling off into the 70s overnight tonight, and tomorrow it'll be more of the same. Clear in the morning, but as the afternoon wears on, a better chance of a couple pop-up showers, maybe a few downpours. That'll be around the dinner time hour. Then we'll do it again on Thursday. To wrap it up for you, we're right around 90 for the high tomorrow afternoon with more heat for the rest of the week. We'll have your 7-day coming up in a few minutes.
We're just a week away from celebrating Tanya Rivera's 50th birthday. It's a milestone birthday, and she needs your help celebrating and granting her 2 birthday wishes.
She wants to spread joy and give back to the community. So to do so, she will be at the Friendly Center Harris Teeter next Tuesday, 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. while supplies last. You'll have the chance to spin the wheel and win a prize, so that's the joy part.
Yeah, but she needs your help raising money and collecting food to provide 50,000 meals to people in need. You can drop off food or money at the Friendly Center next week. You can also donate online ahead of time. Just text the word WISH to 336-379-5775. We will send you a link with all the ways you can help out. Still ahead on 4 to 5, a new way to help young Greensboro workers land a job. A look at plans for a new career center. It's next. A new career center is coming to downtown Greensboro. Guilford Works will open a new emerging workforce center this fall. It's aimed specifically at young adults looking to land a job and remain successful. The downtown location is key to what organizers are aiming to do with young job seekers.
It's going to help the community because we're in downtown and we have so many different agencies, resources, transportation. It's going to help bring the young people to downtown, and we're going to be able to collaborate with a lot of the events, a lot of the things that are going on, and be able to incorporate in that in the Next Gen program. And then we'll be able to help not only downtown, but also help our young adults as well.
The new center is expected to open in October. Another way the city of Greensboro is working to attract and hire younger workers is through what they're calling the Boomerang program. The goal is to recruit people who grew up or went to school in Greensboro but have since moved away. The program has attracted diverse talent from all over the U.S., like designers, athletes, and educators.
We are in need of great educators in our school system, so it's been great to bring people back who can teach in our public schools, who can work in our health and human services sectors. And so we've seen all kinds of industry come back, all kinds of skill sets that are really fueling the jobs here, but then also bringing their expertise and their professional experience back to the city to contribute in a number of different ways.
Now, once a potential boomerang is identified, they're sent a box of goodies with information on the city like cost of living and new amenities. So far, they've worked with more than 250 prospects and successfully brought back dozens of workers.
Whether it's reading a book or offering companionship, volunteers there are essential to the services Mountain Valley Hospice and Palliative Care provides. Mountain Valley offers care for those facing serious illness in 18 counties in the western North Carolina and Virginia area. But due to COVID-19, facilities have not allowed volunteers into certain spaces. Director of Volunteer Services Jennifer Richardson says now that restrictions are lifting, there is a major push for volunteers all across the board.
We have a great need for volunteers who are willing to visit with patients in their home. They would typically, just go and stay a couple hours or, just whatever that they have to offer. But direct patient care volunteers is probably our greatest need right now.
Volunteers can provide aid to patients in several ways. This includes reading to patients, preparing meals, and helping with light household tasks, among some other things. And Richardson says there's also a need for more male volunteers and those who have served in the armed forces.
We not only take the patient, but we take the family as a whole. And so volunteers can help in offering support not only to the patient, but to the family and the caregivers as well.
All volunteers are expected to make a one-year commitment. To find out how to qualify, just head on over to WFMYnews2.com.
Caught on camera, Arizona police officers busting through a hot car window to free a toddler stuck inside.
Officers say the mom was carrying groceries into her home when the car locked with the keys still inside. It took officers quick action to get the child free.
Hey, how's it going, kiddo? Hey, bud. Hi, Cowboy. Here.
Even after breaking through the window, the door to the minivan would not unlock. Phoenix police officer Michael Coddington gives his partner a boost, and Officer Mike Melhouse crawls through the window to get to the crying 2-year-old boy burning up in his car seat. Police say mom had just returned from the grocery store, was about to haul baby and bags into the house when she accidentally locked herself out.
Give me upsies. Give me your arms. Okay, give me your arms. Upsies, Cowboy. There you go, big guy.
Such a helpless feeling I can imagine that she was feeling, and I felt horrible for her and I felt horrible for the child.
Officer Melhouse describes what it was like to lift the toddler from his car seat and hand him over to a very relieved parent.
I'm just grateful to be out there and to be able to help.
And after he was checked out, it was great to see he's playing with his Legos and we're having a good time, and so it was great to see that resolution.
Just 2 days before this incident, Phoenix police rescued 2 other children trapped in a hot car.
Okay.
It was a similar scenario with mom locking her keys inside. So far this year, 7 children have died in hot cars across the country. That's according to NoHeatstroke.org, a group that tracks reports of child heat deaths. First responders want to keep that number as close to 0 as possible.
There's never a quick enough moment to leave your child in the car. When this heat, even a couple minutes, is not okay.
Wow. That's why we always say look before you lock.
Right, and I think it's so easy for people who've never done that to say this could never happen to me, but we all constantly will hear the parents who it has happened to say, I also thought this could never happen to me. So definitely some good words of advice. And Tim, we all know it only takes a few minutes for cars to really heat up this time of year.
And we only really talk about it or think about it when it's really hot outside. That can even be an issue when it's 70 degrees outside as well. It doesn't have to be 90 or 100 degrees for those cars to heat up a lot. I actually want to show you how quickly that heat can grow when you're inside one of those hot cars. Check it out. Temperatures on the bottom, and then the temperature on the right-hand side shows you what it rises to after just a couple of minutes. After 10 minutes in a car, if it's 70 outside, it'll already be closer to 90. Of course, today here in the Piedmont, our temperature is about 90. So after 10 minutes, it's up to 110. After 30 minutes, you're up to 125. And then after an hour, check it out, you're over to 135 or so degrees. But even look, 70 degrees after an hour, it's right around 110 degrees inside that car. We've all felt it on a day that's not that hot outside. You get in the car in the driveway and it's already stuffy. That's the way it works. It's all the sun energy. Our temperatures today, well, they are hot, of course. We're close to 90, right around 88 degrees right now. Looking across the radar, not much happening locally, but we do keep an eye on this to the south. Slow moving showers and downpours. This is right along the South Carolina border near Richmond County. We'll keep an eye on that, but I don't expect many of them to survive the trip into the Triad. Bermuda High still in control. We're in pretty quiet shape weather-wise for today, for tomorrow, and really into Thursday as well. Watching this little bit of a cold front though, as that gets a little closer by Saturday and Sunday, it'll raise our afternoon and evening chances for those daily pop-up storms. For tonight, muggy yet again, low temperature around 72. It's still a low chance to catch a thunderstorm. If you like the space station, maybe you saw it last night, maybe you missed it, you get another chance this evening. It's around 9:28 this evening, exactly, really, and it'll last for 6 minutes. 7-day forecast, more of the same. Each and every day will be right around 90. Now, if you have weekend plans, keep an eye to the sky. Each afternoon, we'll have a better chance to pop some of those thunderstorms.
There was a man who would help anyone. One day while walking, he found a purse. Inspecting the contents of the purse, he discovered that it was empty. Suddenly, a woman arrives with a police officer, and the man is arrested. The woman, assuming the man was the thief, demanded that he return the money because the money was for her son's education. The man replied that when he found the purse, it was empty. Having compassion for the woman, he gave her money. She left while the man was held. The next day, the officer arrived to her house to tell her that they found the real thief and recovered part of the money. Confused, she asked about the other man. The officer replied, He told us that he gave you his money because he didn't want your son to go without. Today, think of someone else before you think of yourself. It makes a difference. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? U.S. News and World Report has some suggestions. They're out with a new list of the best places to live.
And get this, coming in at number 2 was the Raleigh-Durham area, but Boulder, Colorado was the number 1 spot. CBS's Michael George explains why.
If you're looking to move, Boulder, Colorado may be the place. The city topped U.S. News and World Report's list of best places to live for the 2nd consecutive year. Realtor and Boulder resident Alex Miller isn't surprised.
It's just a fantastic place to live. I love getting out and hiking. I'm a big runner, so it's a very friendly spot.
Boulder's best qualities include its outdoorsy lifestyle and a strong job market.
Despite the fact that the entire country experienced skyrocketing unemployment throughout 2020, Boulder's market was able to remain relatively stable and keep unemployment rates pretty low.
The magazine looks at data on the country's 150 most populous metro areas and weighs it against responses from a desirability survey of more than 3,600 people nationwide. Rounding out the top 5, Raleigh and Durham, North Carolina, Huntsville, Alabama, Fayetteville, Arkansas, and Austin, Texas.
They certainly offer kind of the amenities of a big city that people want to see, but it also has sprawling suburbs and areas that allow people to get outdoors. They don't necessarily feel so packed in.
New York City actually tied Boulder as the 10th most desirable place to live. But what bumps the Big Apple down the overall list is the price tag.
These biggest cities in the country and their surrounding metro areas are unfortunately for a lot of people not that easy to afford.
U.S. News and World Report says for a third of Americans, the pandemic has changed their opinion about where they live, and 11% have already moved or plan to do so. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
And I actually misspoke before this story. I said the best place in the world. There are a lot of places in the world where you might want to live, but this is just for the U.S. Some other North Carolina city rankings on this list. Charlotte came in at 20, Winston-Salem was 46, Asheville 48, Hickory 52, and Greensboro was 94.
Okay.
Where would you pick?
We got to get that 94 up a little bit. I think Greensboro is much better than that. I would tell you one thing. One thing we have way over Raleigh or Charlotte.
Okay.
No traffic.
Wind over traffic, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
I like the Raleigh-Durham area. I always think of it as like a hip, innovative city. There's so much to do downtown, lots of museums and lots of good food. I've already been like twice since I've moved here, so it's been great.
Good for the state to be kind of on that list, right? Like right at the top. So just a lot of people are thinking, hey, what do I think about North Carolina? All of us have lived in different parts of the country, and I think we like it here pretty well.
And now with Apple moving into the Raleigh-Durham area, that's attracting more people, more, everything that comes along with it. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I'm a big fan of Charlotte.
Be careful though. Now these prices, when people
they're
see
going to go
up. They're going. I think that's already happening, but the prices are going to go up if it's a nice place to live. Might get a little more expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
Let us know on Facebook where you would like to live, if it's not here.
Right here.
Right here.
I'm going
at News 2.
Hello? What kind of rumors? Oh, I know what it is. It's because you people don't like my new thing. So I'm going to give you the old thing again. Because you're creatures of habit. You ready? Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination. When a dark, delicious cookie meets an ice cold sensation, one and only 3 creamy chocolate. OAREO.
It's 4:30 on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm Chad Silber. Glad to be here alongside Lauren Coleman. Let me fill in again today. Appreciate
Great
that.
to have
Thank
you. Always a great time on the 4 to 5 when Chad is here. But you know the drill. Make sure you head over to our Facebook page to join the live stream because it's been kind of quiet there. We want to talk to you guys.
Absolutely. Before we get to that, let's talk about a big story that we are continuing to follow, developing in Lexington. Police say say a mom survived an attack by her partner when her child stepped in with a machete.
911 calls now reveal the moments neighbors in the area called for help. Take a listen.
One of my friends was outside and he came running in and was like, y'all come outside, we need help. and a little boy came from down the street. He said his parents were fighting really bad, and his stepdad cut him with a sword, and he's screaming and bleeding everywhere.
Here's what we know from Lexington police. Officers say a man assaulted his partner late Saturday night. The child reportedly stepped in to help his mom using a machete. Police say the suspect tried to take the machete from the child, and the child got cuts on their hands and face. The suspect barricaded himself for hours before he was taken into custody. Lexington police say he's been charged with assault, felony child abuse, and 2 counts of assaulting a government official.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up, the Rowan County Sheriff's Office says a South Carolina man died in a skydiving accident. Investigators say 31-year-old Brandon Price was an experienced skydiver and was jumping with Piedmont Skydiving in Salisbury. Apparently, he got stuck upside down doing mid-trick flights and couldn't get to his parachute. The Guilford County School Board is now allowing the public to be in its meetings for the first time since last spring. The board has been using a hybrid meeting format with members in person, but the public comments just posted online. Tonight, 15 people selected from a lottery will be allowed to be there. You had to register by noon yesterday to be considered. Those selected will undergo health screenings and must wear a mask. A new Barbie version of tennis player Naomi Osaka sold out just hours after going on sale. Mattel introduced the new doll as Osaka gets ready to play in the Tokyo Olympics. It's part of the company's Barbie role model line. The doll went on sale yesterday and sold out in just a few hours. And NC State has a new dog running around campus. Meet Tuffy III, the new Wolfpack mascot. He's an adorable Tamascan puppy, a breed that resembles a Siberian Husky. He takes over for Tuffy II, who passed away last October. NC State has had a live mascot since 2010. I love the idea of a live mascot. I wish more schools would do that.
Yeah, it makes it a lot of fun, and he's just the cutest. I love those pictures. Have you ever been to a game and seen him?
So no, I've never been to a game at NC State. I've done Duke, I've done Carolina, I've done App State. So I hear NC State's got a pretty good tailgate, so I think this year I'm gonna have to check it out.
Gonna have to check that one out.
All right, let's verify something.
That sound means it is time to verify. Woo, it is hot this week. We are in a typical July pattern and our thermostats are sweating almost as much as we are. So it's a perfect time to take up viewer Pamela's inquiry. She wrote, a heating and cooling company told us that the AC can't cool more than 20 degrees below what it is outside. So we adjust the thermostat accordingly. We have a heat pump. So is it true you shouldn't set your thermostat more than 20 degrees below the outside temperature? Our sources for this are the U.S. Department of Energy and home improvement expert Tom Garcia with Southern Evergreen. They say the answer is true depending on your system.
So that is true in some instances. When a person has a heat pump system, heat pumps are very efficient and they're great for our area because we don't have extreme highs and extreme lows. So heat pumps are wonderful. But the thing about heat pumps is when we get really cold, they lose efficiency. If you get really hot, they lose efficiency. So you're right, that 20-degree margin is about right, although some heat pumps are better than that. It depends on the quality of the heat pump.
If you don't have a heat pump and have separate AC and furnace units, you don't have to follow that 20-degree rule. However, do adjust the thermostat before you leave the house. The Energy Department suggests setting it to as high as comfortably possible in the summer and bumping it up even higher when you're not home. The smaller the difference between the indoor and outdoor temperatures, the lower your overall cooling bill will be. But if constant adjusting is too much hassle, Garcia suggests using a programmable thermostat.
And these little babies are sweet and they're not expensive anymore. You know, they used to be, but they're not anymore. Programmable thermostats. And so you can set them when you leave to go to work, you know, the temperature in your home or raise it, whatever the season may be, 4 to 5 degrees. And then just before you come back, maybe a half hour, an hour before you're going to arrive home, let the system start cooler, warm it back up again for you. That can really save a lot of energy.
In conclusion, we verified, yes, it's true. If you have a heat pump, don't set your thermostat at more than 20 degrees below the outside temperature. So if it's 90, don't set your thermostat below 70. If you have a traditional standalone AC unit, you can set it to your desired temperature. Just adjust the thermostat when you're not home to save energy. One more key point here, maintenance. Your heat pump needs service. Garcia said change out the filter every 30 or so days and wash those coils with a hose to keep the air flowing well. With your Verify, I'm Megan Malaris.
All right, now for the age-old question, what do you set your thermostat at?
When I leave the house, probably about like 75, and then when I'm at home, like 68.
When I'm at home, I'm at 70. When I go to bed, 67. When I'm not at home, I just shut it off completely.
Okay.
Tim?
You guys are pretty low. I like those temperatures. I'm just cheap, so I rather go to like 72 instead, right? But anything in that comfort zone is fine with me. I just can't go above 75 and be comfortable.
Right, absolutely. I'm the same way. But right now, you got to set it to something low.
I mean, I'll just say though, 20 degrees, that's not like a big deal for us because the hottest we've been this year in the Triad, at least in Greensboro, 92. So 20 degrees below that, 72, we should be all right, right? Here we go. There's your heat for the day right now. We have partly cloudy skies currently across the area. It's typically hot, nothing too extreme. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is extreme heat really hasn't been happening all that often. We've just been consistently hot. We've had a bunch of days that have been right around 88, 90 or 92, but not much above that. And hopefully that can continue. Our partly cloudy sky is here right now. We will see our temperatures just kind of remaining like this for several days. Air temp is in the big number. The smaller number is that heat index when you factor in what it feels like when you consider the humidity. Notice those are in the 90s, our air temp generally in the upper 80s for today. Radar's pretty quiet at the moment, at least locally in many of our Triad counties. If you do go to the south though, I'm going to keep an eye on some of these showers and storms. It's possible we might start to see these shortly move closer to Montgomery County, and they might be able to move a little bit into the southern Piedmont. But for most of us, it's another dry afternoon and evening of weather. Temperatures are still hot. It's just toasty outside, folks. Steamy, let's say, because of that humidity. Overnight low will be right around 70. And then for tomorrow, there might be a slightly better chance of a pop-up storm in the afternoon. You see right there, that's around 4, 5, and 6 o'clock on your Wednesday. We'll keep an eye on that. But every day this week, still right around average between 87 and 90 degrees.
It's a night out, you're having fun with friends, it's all good until the bill comes, right? And then there's that whole shuffle of how to split up the bill. If you don't have the waitress do it for you on separate bills, you're trying to like make change for friends. Someone always ends up with more on their card than they should, which is why we all do this. Okay, payment apps, they are so convenient. They've changed everything, have they not?
Yes, I love them and I love to use them and I don't care about the security flaws.
Yeah, I use them all the time.
But I should though, right?
This is where we're going with this.
But I should.
But you do use them.
Yes.
And often, and you use them.
Use them like weekly almost.
Okay, who do you use them with?
Family, friends, like at restaurants or paying for gas, different things like that.
Yeah, that's about it. I don't think I've ever sent or received money from someone I didn't know.
Okay, and that really is the big key. That is your big security. But we're talking about Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. Many banks have their own peer-to-peer payment app, and like everything else, consumers are complaining about it. In fact, North Carolina is 10th in the nation for the number of complaints about peer-to-peer payment apps to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. You can see California's number 1. You got Texas, Florida, Georgia, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania. They're all in there too. Now here are the top complaints. Topping the list, opening, managing, or closing an account, frauds and scams, and then problems with transactions. Not only are the complaints about these issues rising, but the complaints that the companies won't help, that's rising too.
So we're definitely seeing that while these companies warn of a lot of these problems, unfortunately, when folks actually need the help, they don't have the robust customer service and infrastructure that they need to be able to deal with these problems.
NCPIRG, the Public Interest Research Group, came out with a study on the complaints along with recommendations for businesses as well as for consumers.
People don't necessarily realize that these are instantaneous transactions. As soon as you send the money, you will never see it back. And that can cause everywhere from, like fraudulent issues to just simple mistakes like typing in the wrong username.
All right, so here's a key point. Consumers should routinely audit their privacy and financial security settings. You need to set it to the most restrictive setting that is out there for any of these cash apps. For example, with Venmo, your payments are public by default unless you change the privacy setting.
I'm on Venmo and I'm like, why are y'all telling me everybody's business? I don't know what I don't want to know what everybody else is Venmoing for. I don't care. Yeah, it's like a whole timeline. It's Twitter. I can't hear you. I can hear you. No problem, sir. I was talking.
This next story is a huge deal. Winston-Salem State is waiving all textbook fees for undergrads for the fall semester.
WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey has more on this story.
Well, as students and universities alike prepare for the upcoming fall 2021 semester, Winston-Salem State University informed their undergraduate students that they will be able to save a little extra cash this semester because they won't have to come out of their pocket for textbooks.
So we are super excited to be able to offer free books for our undergraduate students for the fall semester. We were able to use some of our HERF funding, and that is how we are able to cover the expenses for this program.
That was Winston-Salem State Director of Communications, Haley Jingles. Those funds she mentioned are federal coronavirus emergency grants that many colleges and universities received this year. And what's a better way to help your university than by helping the students that make it what it is?
We say here at Winston-Salem State that we're a RAM family, and so we want to take care of our family. The students are so very important to us, and we are just delighted to be able to provide this opportunity for them this fall.
So guys, at a rough estimate, there are about 5,000 undergraduate students enrolled in Winston-Salem State. I know at times one book for a course can cost you easily $200. And I know books are probably the least used out of everything that you're buying when you're going to school. So just want to know this is great news for all the Rams out there, but it's not just for all the undergraduate students. Close to 1,000 graduate students will be receiving a $500 book voucher as well.
What a great idea. I always hated paying for books.
The worst.
Especially because so many schools and classes do a lot of online things now. So the book is more of a supplement than it is a main piece of learning. So, I mean, and think about all the money that you spend on college anyway. So it's nice that you can get this kind of break. I know North Carolina A&T is offering 2 years worth of books. So, I mean, it's great all the way around.
Very helpful. I remember in college, I had an applied calculus book, almost $200. We rarely used it. We mostly used like the slides, and then when I went to sell it back in, I barely got $40 for it.
Exactly, man. I consider it a racket, basically. You know, like you were saying, you pay $200 for a new book, you use it 2-3 times. Like you mentioned, Chad, you really only need the online portion of the book. And then when you sell it back, they give you $4 and you're down $196. So you're just like, oh, well, what was the point?
I knew I was going to bank in when I was like, $40.
$40. Like, come on now, what are we doing?
I'm curious to see what's going to happen at the end of the semester, because so you got all these books for free. Can you return them and get money for them now? Because now you're making a profit. You're not going into debt.
Yeah, can you sell them like on Amazon or something?
You know, we have
maybe
you might be onto something there. I don't know. We might have to dig a little deeper into that and see what all the stipulations and what all the rules is going to be.
Well, you're going to want to stick around because we're talking French fries next.
Ooh, my favorite.
Don't say it now.
Okay.
Coming up.
You come to Facebook and tell us how you like your fries.
We'll be right back. All right, as you know, there is a national day for everything, and today's might make you hungry. It's National French Fry Day.
My favorite. So the side can be traced all the way back to 1856 when French fried potatoes appeared in a cookbook. During World War I, American soldiers reportedly discovered the fried food in Belgium because French was the official language of the Belgian army. The U.S. soldiers started calling them French fries.
Boy, these days everyone seems to have a favorite. We asked you to share your thoughts on Facebook. Paul says McDonald's. Leslie loves the Chick-fil-A waffle fries. Ed says his wife's homemade fries are the best. Darlene says Graham Soda Shop. They make their own chips also. And Bobby says Natty Green's sweet potato fries. Paulette also said McDonald's. And Frank says Burger Spot. So there are good fries everywhere.
Yeah.
It's hard to mess up a fry.
And now you've got to pick. Which one? Above all the rest.
I would have to say Arby's. I recently tried them.
Curly's.
And those curly fries, they are good. I was like, I've been missing out.
I'm with Arby's. That is my number one.
You'd never had them before?
I had like a couple months ago. I think I was telling you about it.
Yeah.
I had it a couple months ago.
It's a nationwide chain.
Welcome to
Yeah,
your
but
new
I
life.
just never thought I want roast beef for lunch. But one day I was like, let me just check this out.
Just get a big order of fries.
Yeah.
Jalen, what about you?
I'm gonna go a little off the rails here. I'm gonna probably say either Rallies or Checkers, depending on where you're from.
Oh,
Rallies,
Checkers
That's
is
my
a good
second
one.
favorite.
Rallies and Checkers, man.
I've never
Good
had those, I
seasoning.
don't think.
I'm telling
Good
you,
seasoning.
I've had nothing from Rallies or Checkers that I did not like.
Nope.
Okay.
And they've got. I think they invented the double drive-through, so good for them.
Good for
I
them.
like
Efficiency.
the Five Guys fry.
Ooh.
It's like a fresh cut deal.
Oh,
It's
you're
like
rich.
skin on the end. It's very expensive.
You're
But-
very rich.
And they fill up that whole bag, so you get to feed the whole family.
You
Yeah,
could
but
get a
it's
small
$20.
and they'll fill up the whole bag.
It's very expensive. It's like a once in a while thing, but I like those fries.
Have you ever done obviously the fries you can pair with what, like the vinegar
Yeah.
at Five Guys?
Some people like that.
The
I
malt
don't.
vinegar, right?
I've never had it, but it smells so good that mixed together.
I tried that for the first time a couple weeks ago. I don't even remember where I went. They had some malt vinegar on the side. Might have been Firehouse Subs, maybe. But I poured the malt vinegar, and I was like, this ain't bad. I mean, it doesn't really like add much razzle dazzle, but
Right.
it's not bad.
I think it's a British thing. It's like a fish and chips deal.
Yeah.
Going with
Really?
that, yeah.
Okay. Who has the worst French fries?
I hate the Chick-fil-A fries. I'm sorry.
Steak and shake.
Don't like a
Steak
waffle
and
fry.
shake.
It's nothing personal. I just don't like a waffle fry.
Burger King.
Okay.
That's
I
it.
don't like crinkle
We're
fries.
going to cause a controversy.
I know. I'm like,
The
We need
crinkle
to go to
fries?
weather. They're telling me we need
Oh,
to
we gotta
We gotta go. Yeah.
Before we upset
She's getting
some
upset.
sponsors, we need to
She's
go
getting
to weather
upset. We gotta go.
right now. Yes, still heat, still humidity. Please, still sponsor us. Hey, here's our heat and humidity, everybody. A lot of 80s across the area, right around 90 degrees in many areas. These are high temperatures so far today. So if you're in Reidsville, you've gotten up to 89. Winston, Greensboro is both at 88 degrees. And this is kind of where we've been most of the week. And our average high was right at 89. So no surprises there. Looking at the radar, not a lot going on locally, but I am still watching these showers and storms to the south. They're not making much progress, but to let you know where we are, this is Montgomery County, Troy. Keep an eye on these. You are close enough to hear that thunder and see some of that lightning. I'd encourage you at the moment to still be inside just because of that proximity. Weather pattern doesn't change much for now. We'll keep it high and dry for the most part tomorrow into Thursday. But watching this front on that side of your screen, we're going to get this closer to our area by the weekend. I don't want you to cancel any weekend plans, but just know that chance of pop-up storms will get a little bit higher. We can let you look at that full 7-day forecast going into Saturday and Sunday, right around 90 still. But notice I upped the chance of your house getting wet to 40%. That'll be the case for both weekend days, and then into Monday, even a better chance still. But that heat, that humidity, it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Well, now let's get to one more national story. Right now, as many as half a dozen states are under excessive heat warnings. Add that to the more than 300,000 acres currently burning in the West. One of those fires is threatening to take down a major power grid that connects California to Oregon.
In California, the horrific sound of a firestorm and the gut-wrenching sight of homes consumed by flames from a massive fire north of Lake Tahoe. And this, a fire tornado fueled by intense heat and powerful winds. It sparks memories of 2020, the worst year ever for California wildfires. This year, twice as many acres have already burned. The largest so far is this fire in Northern California, 3 times the size of San Francisco. Erratic winds proving dangerous for firefighters. In Oregon, the nation's biggest fire is continuing to grow exponentially.
We are seeing, doubling in size of the fire every 24 hours.
And that wildfire near the state's southern border has affected power lines, now threatening the electric grid in parts of Oregon and California. Making conditions worse, unrelenting heat, weeks of record-breaking temperatures throughout the West. Las Vegas tying its all-time record of 117 degrees. The hottest it's ever been in Grand Junction, Colorado, 107. In Death Valley, 130, just 4 degrees shy of the hottest ever recorded on Earth. And new concerns tonight about a wildfire near Yosemite National Park.
Ashes were falling just everywhere.
We had a beautiful house, might be all gone, and what do? You start over. So we don't know.
A week later. I think that's the best thing that they have. Yeah. I got like some mozzarella sticks too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hi there. Chick-fil-A is going to hate me after what I said on television. Wow. Brother?
Hi there, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island.
Callie, 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 Callie. No more drama, please. Callie.
You know who doesn't have good fries? Mic check 1, 2, 3. Now you guys got me thinking about my favorite and least favorite French fries. I'm gonna have to go with Zaxby's as my least favorite. Yeah, I don't really like Zaxby's French fries. They're okay. Mic check 1, 2.
It's time for my 2 cents. The pandemic has certainly impacted all aspects of our lives. It's impacted our jobs, schools, and the way we communicate with others. I believe platforms like Zoom have changed communication for the better. Not only have they been great tools for communicating with coworkers, they've also been powerful in strengthening my relationships with my friends and family. Prior to the pandemic, I would catch up with my college roommates through text or the occasional phone call. With all of us working in different parts of the country and some raising families, time to socialize with each other was limited. But when COVID hit, all of that changed. We started doing bi-weekly Zoom calls every Tuesday. Our hour-long conversations were freeing, and they reminded me that it's important to check in with the ones you care about. We may see the smiles and the giggles on social media, but there's always something deeper. Everyone needs a good vent from time to time. And now that the world is slowly starting to reopen, we plan to continue our scheduled Zoom chats. Though we may not live in the same city, I would say the pandemic has brought us even closer. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
A horrific story out of High Point. Police say a